I fear I just got the biggest ick. I'm sorry that I'm being such a hater right now, but that was icky. That was an ick. I'm literally getting withdrawals from not using my Kindle for the past like 3-4 days. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is super fun, which is reading only books on my physical TBR for a week. So I've actually done a video like this before on my channel and you guys seem to really like it. And one of my goals for 2025 is to read more books off of my physical TBR. So here we are, part 2. We're making it kind of a series here on my channel. But the book hauls, the bookstore trips, they have kind of caught up to me, and my physical TBR is outrageous. I think the last time I did a full-on count, it was over 100 books, and that is a scary thought. So this intro is actually coming to you from the future. It was actually a very successful reading vlog, so let's get into it. We are starting off this video by reading The X-Files by Jessica Joyce. I'm about 30 pages in so far, and I feel like I have a pretty good understanding about what this book is about. So our main two characters, Georgia and Eli, they are childhood best friends, and they're also in the same friend group with this other guy, Adam. Well, Georgia and Eli used to date, and they ended up breaking up because of reasons unknown to me yet, but because they didn't want to ruin their friend group and their friend dynamic, they decided to kind of twist the truth and exaggerate to Adam about their breakup and how they're still close, how the breakup was fine, whatever. Well, fast forward to present day, Adam is getting married. It's about 5 years since they've broken up, and Eli and Georgia are both in the bridal party. They are the best man and the best woman, and because they live in separate states, they don't really have to see each other for long periods of time. Well, since they are in the wedding together, they are kind of put in this forced proximity kind of situation, and they just have to do a lot of things together. It's kind of the first time that they are like spending a lot of time together since their breakup. I'm really enjoying it so far. I really like the author's writing style. I don't know, the way that she describes things, it just feels like very lyrical. I don't know. It also kind of reminds me of Happy Place, like the second chance, the friends to lovers kind of aspect, breaking up, but they have to kind of lie to their friends because they don't want to ruin the friend group and the friend dynamic. So yeah. So our main female character, Georgia, just kind of got roped into picking up Eli at the airport, and the tension of seeing each other in such a long time is there. Like, the tension is palpable. It is in the room with us, if you will. Another thing that I've noticed with this book, which I actually kind of like, is that there are no past chapters, but the author incorporates these like little snippets of the past in the present day chapters. characters. Like, for instance, the main female character, Georgia, she like saw a kitchen table that like looks like the one that her and Eli used to have, and then she thinks about the first time that they had dinner there and things like that. I don't know why, but it just kind of feels a little bit more cohesive. I don't feel like out of the story. Like, sometimes present and past timeline chapters, they feel like two different stories. As much as I love them, that's kind of like the downside of them sometimes. So it is the next day. Yesterday I read about 50 pages of the X-Files. I'm now about 80 pages in, and not a lot has happened since then. I feel like we're kind of ramping up to like the meat of the story. We're kind of laying down the groundwork, establishing backstory and things like that. I think I mentioned this yesterday, but this book does give me Happy Place by Emily Henry vibes, and I feel like this one quote in particular kind of like brings it out of me. And this is not a spoiler, by the way, it's literally just like a quote. It just says, "It's a gift to know someone when you're in love with them, and it's a curse when you're out of it." Like, it may not seem like the most groundbreaking thing, but like that quote makes me think of Harriet and Win, like to a T. So I feel like if this is giving me Happy Place vibes, it's gonna like absolutely wreck me. The next day, and I am 200 pages into the X-Files. I feel a little bit bad because I honestly haven't been doing a good job of updating you guys, giving you guys my reactions and thoughts in real time, but I'm gonna be quite honest, I feel like this book isn't really eliciting any like strong opinions or reactions from me. Don't get me wrong, I am enjoying it. I just don't think I'm like loving it. I don't think I'm like absolutely obsessed. I feel like the romance kind of took too long to get to, and that's why I'm like kind of slumping out a little bit. But I have about 100 pages left. I'm hoping to finish it today, and a lot can change in 100 or so pages. So let's get into it. here I just got the biggest ick. So the main two characters, Georgia and Eli, were about to kiss, and to instigate it, Eli, the main male character, asked, and I quote, "Will you give me your mouth now?" That is what he said verbatim. Like, I love that you're asking for consent, but I just feel like that is like the least romantic way to ask permission to kiss them. It's a total vibe killer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm being such a hater right now, but that was icky. That was an ick. So it has been a while later, like a few hours later, and I'm in a little bit of a dilemma. I thought I would be done with the X-Files by now. I thought I would be done with this book, we'd be moving on to the next one, and I would just be so happy and go lucky. However, I have kind of hit a roadblock. I'm just like dragging my feet, and I just can't seem to like lock in and like read this book. Every little thing is just distracting me, and so that begs me to question, am I the problem? Am I the issue? Am I entering some sort of reading slump? I literally have 40 pages left. Like, why can I not finish this book? I feel partly it is because of me, but I also feel like it's because of the book, and that is no one's issue but my own. It's not even my issue, I guess. It's just like, unfortunately, how it is. I just don't seem to care about the characters, like, at all. I never got, like, hooked into the story like how I normally do. I don't know. Something just isn't clicking for me, and this may be a DNF, who knows? But one thing about me that's like kind of toxic is that I don't DNF. Sorry, that is like one of my toxic reader traits, a red flag, if you will. I just don't DNF. I just don't. So who knows? Maybe I'll just make myself finish the book because that's what I do. So it is the next day and we have a lot to talk about, okay? First and foremost, I did end up finishing The X-Files by Jessica Joyce. The last time we spoke, I was kind of in a crossroads situation. I didn't know whether or not I wanted to continue on with the book, if I wanted to DNF. I was just kind of in a slump, if that's what you want to call it. I wasn't motivated to read, I wasn't motivated to pick up the book, and it was kind of just ruining my vibe. I was kind of upset, but I also didn't want to DNF a book because there was nothing that I outright hated about this book. There was nothing that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't stand the characters, I can't stand the writing, like nothing that would elicit like, oh my gosh, I just can't continue on. And so because I have such a hard time DNFing books, I continued on, I persevered, and here we are today. So overall, I think I would rate this book a 2.75. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. It was just kind of, again, like flat for me, meh, if you will. One thing that I do appreciate about this book is the mental health representation. I really appreciated that both of the main characters understood the importance of therapy, went to therapy, and just really emphasized how important it is and how much therapy can help you deal with your past traumas, be a better person, be a better partner, be a better friend, and all that. The main issue I think I had with this book, and it really wasn't that big of an issue, like it really didn't upset me while I was reading the book. It was mainly like an afterthought when I closed the book and I was finished with it. I was like, oh, maybe this was why I wasn't vibing with it. And that was just like how the second chance trope was utilized in this book. I feel like it talked a lot about how the couple broke up, why they broke up, why they can't be together anymore, but we never got why they fell in love with each other, how they fell in love with each other, like their actual love story. And we do get snippets, like, do not get me wrong, but I feel like when I look back on this story, I could tell you why they broke up, but I couldn't tell you how they started to fall in love with each other. Like, I know the big moments, but like the little small moments that like build up to the big ones, that's what I wanted. I wanted the tension of, we're friends, we're in this friend group, but I feel more than a friend vibe for you, you know? Like, I wanted that tension, I wanted that angst, and I just feel like the way the second chance trope was written in this book, I didn't get that. And because I didn't get that, I just feel like when they finally got together again, I just didn't care. Like, I just kind of knew it was gonna happen because it's a second chance romance. Like, obviously, they're gonna get together, but like, there was no stakes involved for me. You know what I mean? With all that being said, please take what I say with a grain of salt. If this premise and this book speaks to you in any way, please give it a shot. Everyone's reading experiences are different, so just because this book wasn't for me doesn't mean that you'll have a terrible experience. You know, this could be your next 5-star read. Who knows? I will say I haven't written Jessica Joyce off as an author yet. I think I'd be really open to reading more of her work just to kind of see if maybe it was just this book that I wasn't vibing with, because I know she has quite a few other popular books out there. Like I think she wrote You with a View, which is pretty popular, has a lot of positive ratings. So I think I would maybe give that a shot just to see, because again, there wasn't anything that I hated about this book, but it just wasn't the right book for me. So moving on, the next book that I'm going to be picking up is Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin. So this is a YA fantasy, and it's also a standalone fantasy, which I feel like is so hard to find nowadays. So when I was browsing my shelf and trying to decide what to read next and I saw this book, it was like a come to God moment. Like I just knew this was the right book for me, especially because The X-Files was a romance, and I feel like because I wasn't vibing with that, I needed something different. I needed a genre switch, okay? So Bring Me Your Midnight is about Tana Fairfield, and she lives on this island with a coven of witches, and their magic is very much tied to the sea. I think they do like some sort of ritual every month that like releases their magic into the sea because they can't control their magic at like full capacity. And she is actually in an arranged marriage with the governor's son from like the mainland, and the mainland is full of humans. And up until a while ago, the humans and witches like just didn't get along, but over time they've kind of built peace agreements, things like that, and they're able to coexist. However, that bigotry and hatred still exists, which is why Tana is entering this arranged marriage, so it could just really solidify this peace agreement and this alliance. But one night, Tana forgets to like release her magic back into the sea or something, and so she's kind of stuck with this like overabundance of magic, and she doesn't really know how to control it or use it or things like that. And that's where our other main male character enters the chat, Wolf. He's like from this other coven that she's never heard of before, and they actually use their magic at full capacity. They don't release it back into the ocean, which is kind of unheard of. And he offers to teach Tana how to use her magic and how to reach her full potential. And it kind of poses this impossible situation for Tana. Does she choose her coven and duty of putting her people first, of going through with this arranged marriage, or does she go with her heart and choose magic and this like amazing guy that she met and adores? So I'm only about a chapter in, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I think I made the right decision of picking up a fantasy rather than a romance. I just feel like the writing style just like kind of flows, and it's easy to read, and it's like really pulling me in. So yeah. So I'm about 8 chapters into Bring Me Your Midnight, and I think we are finally getting into like the meat of the story. We just met Wolf, one of our main male characters. I don't know if this is technically a love triangle because she is betrothed to the governor's son Landon, but I don't know if that's like actually gonna be a romance or if Wolf is just gonna be like the main guy. Either way, I think I'm gonna love Wolf, because who doesn't love kind of like an emo looking main male character that's like angsty? Like who doesn't love that? Because I do. So it is the next day, and I am 50% through Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin. Going into this book, I really had the expectation that the romance was going to play a bigger role than it has. I don't know, that's just kind of the vibe that the synopsis gave me. However, after reading quite a bit of the story, it's kind of apparent that the romance takes a backseat. Like, don't get me wrong, the seeds have been planted. There is tension, there's yearning, there's definitely like a forbidden love aspect. But when I tell you that this romance is slow burn, I mean that it is slow burn. Like, I'm 50% through and they haven't even kissed or like held hands. Like, what's up with that? I don't know. Nonetheless, I am still enjoying the book, but it's definitely more about Tana and her self-journey and her, like, self-discovery of, like, all these different aspects of herself that she didn't realize were there. I'm really hoping to finish this book today, so let's get into it. So much has happened since I last spoken to you guys. In the span of like 30 to 50 pages, this story has just like became a total shit show, but like in the best way possible. Like so much has happened and so much is getting revealed, and we've kind of entered this like new segment of the book. So now we're not only just getting Tana's POV, but we're getting Wolf's, and I love it. Like I actually love it. I feel lied to. I thought we were going to get Wolf's POV from now on. Nope, just that one chapter. Just that one chapter. And it was probably my favorite chapter out of the whole book. It was like everything. I feel like dual POV in a fantasy book or just like any sort of romance book adds so much, because tell me why I wasn't like fully into the romance, and then I read that chapter, saw how much he loves her and like yearns for her and wants to be with her, and I'm just like dying, like literally dying. So I just got done reading Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin. I think for me this is a 3.5. I did enjoy the book, especially the last like 100 to 150 pages. I feel like that's really when everything ramps up, like romance, plot, like everything. That's kind of when shit goes down, and I was living for it. I think my biggest issue with the book was the pacing. I feel like the first half was really slow, and that kind of caused the last half to just have like a lot going on. And even though I really liked the last half of the book, I just kind of wish it was a little bit better paced, so it felt like something was happening all throughout the book. I definitely will say that if you are looking for a fantasy standalone, I would highly recommend this book. I feel like fantasy standalones are very hard to do. They're definitely not a small feat, because fantasies just take a lot of time and like world building, and you're building these characters and you're creating a whole new magic system and things like that, and I feel like that's really hard to do in like one book, especially because this book isn't that long. It's only like 400 pages, and so for that I feel like I can't really like diss too much on the pacing and on the story, because I think it's a really good story. I will say, go into this book thinking it's more about self-discovery and a character journey rather than a romance. The romance is definitely there, but it does take a backseat for quite a bit. Like, you definitely have moments, but I would say the story is mainly about Tana and whether or not she is going to choose her coven or choose herself, and it's just really this like Sophie's choice of it all. Moving on, I think I'm gonna pick up another book, and that is Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. There are a multitude of reasons why I'm like feeling this book call out to me, but one of the reasons is because I did read Forget Me Not by Julie Soto earlier this year. I want to say like in February or January, and it was a 5-star read. And technically Forget Me Not and Not Another Love Song are in the same universe. It's like an interconnected standalone series. So we did see like a small snippet of like our main male character in Forget Me Not. And yeah, the second reason is that this book is available on Kindle Unlimited, and after reading 2 physical copies back to back, I just feel like I need some bonding time with my Kindle. I just need to be alone with it for a few for a few hours. So yeah, I'm literally getting withdrawals from not using my Kindle for the past like 3-4 days. Like 20% through Not Another Love Song, and I am loving it. There's just something about Julie Soto's writing that just like hits every time for me. It was definitely not a fluke with Forget Me Not. Going into this book, I was a little bit suspicious, I guess. Like, what if Forget Me Not was just a one-off and I wouldn't really like this book? Well, I was wrong. I was wrong. There's no doubt that I love Julie Soto, and I will be reading all of her books from now on. We also get dual POV, but like not a consistent dual POV. So the majority of the story is told through our main female character's point of view, Gwen, and we do get snippets of Xander or Alex's POV as well, and I'm just like living for it. I literally cannot wait for the romance to pick up because you can kind of like see the like seeds started to be sowed, like the foundation being laid out, and I am so excited. This book is giving boy obsessed and I love it. I live for it. I just love it. I just love it so much. She was like, I don't know what you want from me, but like you just need, and he's like, anything, everything. Literally so good. So good. We love characters who can communicate and not just bottle up their feelings. So there was a bit of a miscommunication trope, but like literally resolved in like 2-3 seconds flat, and like not in an annoying way of like you made it this like big deal or whatever. It was like she was overthinking about something that he said and he noticed it and then clarified, and it was amazing. It was perfect. You know, it's the bare minimum when I'm like, yay, they talk to each other about their feelings, but like that's how much I hate the miscommunication trope. So it is the next day, and it is also the last day of this reading vlog, unfortunately, but I would count this video as a success because I finished reading A Novel Love Story last night. It was so good. It was just so addicting. I just could not put the book down, which kind of led me to like binge read it all. I just feel like the chapters flew by so quickly, and after reading The X-Files and Bring Me Your Midnight, I just kind of felt like I was entering a slump, and that is like a very scary thought, especially for me, because if you did not know, over the summer I had the worst reading slump of my life. I did not pick up a single book in the summer, and I love to read, so that is like a scary, scary thing for me. But Not Another Love Song, my girl Julie Soto came to the rescue, and I just feel like it reinvigorated this like spark and passion in reading that I did not know was lost. I don't know, I feel like I've been having a really good reading year so far, but it is safe to say that this book is a 5-star read for me. I feel like I'm just like raving about it, and it's very apparent that this is a new 5-star read for me, which I love. It's just so amazing when you're able to find a new favorite book, and I feel like I never really talked about what this book is about, so let's get into that. Let's dive into that, shall we? So this book is about Gwen and Alex slash Xander. They are both musicians, and Alex slash Xander is like a very famous musician. He's in this like rock orchestra band. Like they play orchestra instruments like a violin, a cello, whatever, but they do it to like rock covers. Think like Trans-Siberian Orchestra, but like with hot men, if that makes sense. Because I'm pretty sure the Trans-Siberian Orchestra is like old men playing rock instruments, which I love. I saw them in concert in December, but like, yeah. Think of like a hot young version of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. That is basically what he does, but he's also in this like orchestra that she is also in because he's so high profile. They kind of brought him in for like marketing or whatever, but he has no idea that she exists until she is playing in this like wedding and he's there, and she shows up with her violin. She's a violinist, by the way. I feel like I never mentioned that. She shows up with her violin. She's playing with her friend Jacob. They're like a duet kind of thing. It's like a side hustle for them. And the wedding planner, who is the main female character from Forget Me Not, is like, we need a cellist, like not a violinist. Can you play the cello, please? And because Gwen is such a people pleaser, she's like, sure, I can play the cello. And she then borrows Alex's cello. And that's kind of how they like meet. Like she knows who he is because she is in that orchestra with him and like listens to his band's music, but he has no idea just because he's in like La La Land and he's popular and famous or whatever. And it is so good. It is so good. And it's like slight enemies to lovers, but not really. Like there's kind of this like dislike and tension. He's obsessed with her from the get-go. That is like there. But it takes a while for her to like him back, because even though she's attracted to him and likes his band and like thinks he's super talented, he kind of comes off as a jerk. But like the more you read, the more you like see how he acts. You can just tell that that's not really how he is. It's just like a wall that he puts up, and I ate it up. I loved it. And I feel like if you're wanting something fun and different, this is exactly what you should read. If you want boy obsessed, please read it. The only thing that I really wish we had more of was Alex's POV. 3, those were like my favorite chapters, and maybe that's because we didn't get a lot of them, so like I grew to miss them. You know what they say, the heart grows fonder with distance or whatever, but I'm a greedy person, and so I'm just like more is more, and I wanted more of that, but I digress. Yeah, 5 stars all around, absolutely loved it. It is safe to say that Julie Soto is now an auto-buy author for me. Both of her books that she has come out with, Forget Me Not and Not Another Love Song, were 5 stars for me. That is like my track record with Emily Henry's books, so she's like right up there with me, and I'm so excited because I just found out that she is releasing like a fantasy novel, and yeah, counting down the days for that because another 5-star read. Like, what? Is it 3 for 3, Miss Julie Soto? Are you just gonna be like my favorite author ever? I don't know. But yeah, highly recommend. I feel like I cannot say that enough or stress that enough. Like, please go read those 2 books if you haven't already. So I think I'm gonna end the video here, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you want more TBR takedown videos, if you want this to be a more recurring series. It definitely helps me feel motivated to read books off of my physical TBR because I'm a mood reader, and I feel like having Kindle Unlimited also is like a bad influence sometimes because even though I have all these books on my bookshelves, I just go on Kindle Unlimited and I see a bunch of new books and I'm like, oh, let's just read this. So it definitely helps to kind of focus me and have a goal in sight. So let me know if you want more videos like these, or if you've read these books before, what you thought about them, your ratings, your opinions. I would love to know. Let's just like chat it up in the comments, okay? And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. I post about pretty much every week, and I also have a bookstagram, currently .overbooked. I post daily on there, so if you want more content from me, that is the place to go to. I'm also starting to post more on TikTok, so if you want more short form content, that's also the place to go. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.